Let's get salty!
Hey everyone, Zeddy here again, today with a brand new video, and today I wanted to talk about a topic that's actually positive about Hearthstone in the past year. That's right, we've bashed on standard and wild metas, we've bashed on mercenaries. It's been a rough year for Hearthstone, at least meta-wise for a lot of us. Not everybody, some people have enjoyed it, but a lot of us have felt just really bad about the game. However, there was one big change other than the core set that came out last year. Beside the core set, which again, it's a great thing, there was one big change that changed a lot of stuff. And before we get into it, I just want to throw this out there in case you want to change your subscription status on the Zeddy Hearthstone channel. That's right, that was cringe, and well, that maybe deserves an unsub. But regardless, if you feel I've earned your subscription and want to help us get to 50,000 subscribers, that would be amazing, and I would really appreciate it. But anyways, to the topic. What am I talking about? What changed everything? Why am I looking at a fireball? Who cares about a fireball? It's just a fireball, Zeddy. Anyways, get to it. Okay, so I'm getting to it. This is a fireball. It's always been 4-mana deal 6. You looked at that, it's like whatever. It's a spell for mage, and that's great. There's synergies. You know, you have your spell synergies in mage. You could get more with the Antinitis if you cast a spell. You have your Sorcerer's Apprentice, which was 2 mana. Your spells cost 1 less. Big deal. Whatever. It's fireball. However, with the latest rotation, they added spell schools to Hearthstone. All of a sudden, fireball is a fire spell. All of a sudden, we have all these different spell types. We have shadow spells. We have nature spells. All of a sudden, a lot of spells have tribes or schools on it, and you would think, okay, whatever, it is what it is. How does that change things? But my goodness, think about all the creativity it opened for the design team this year. One of the best examples was Shadow Priest. All of a sudden, you could build and make this legendary minion, Dark Bishop Benedictus. If the spells in your decks are all shadow, enter shadow form, creating a whole brand new archetype for priest that is very aggressive, very smarky, but it's something that a lot of people love and have become attached to this year. It's one of the positives of the year. And this would not have been possible without Spell School. Think of a card like Tamsin in Rome. Whenever you cast a shadow spell that costs 1 or more, add a copy to your hand that costs 0. This card has been all over ladder and standard and wild, and again, would not really have been possible without, the shadow spell tag. If it was any spell, it might be ridiculous, but allowed them to refine and build around these crazy strategies that enabled shadow spells to be a thing. And over a year ago, that was completely impossible. And by just adding this new type of school, this new type of mechanic to Hearthstone, just one layer of lettering on a card, it changed the game. It's a legit game changer. Sometimes that game changer could be a little bit monk-ass, if you know what I mean, with your nature spells cost 2 less, allowing for some really degenerate stuff. But again, it makes you have to build nature spells around it, and that's not just everything. You have to go into your collection, type up nature, take a look, and not every spell has a type. We have spells that literally have no type. Take a look at a Pounce, you take a look at Adorable Infestation. It just creates all these different interesting things. Just think of all the cards they've utilized this throughout this year. You might have even forgot cards like Metamorphin. Cast a fell spell this turn, it gains an effect. Just a little card like that completely flies under the radar. You have Fell Gorger, draws a fell spell, reduce its cost by 2. We got a whole fell archetype out of it that went around and led to Jay Starkweaver, where you cast all fell spells, you play this game, targets enemies if possible. Again, something that wouldn't have really been possible without the spell school mechanic, and you can see this across the classes. We saw Druid have that, as I mentioned, with Lady Anacondra. We've seen it as recent as the latest mini set with Battle Vicar getting basically discover a holy spell. Something innocent, but it refines a spell pool, allows a discover option to be refined to a certain thing. It just a little thing you probably don't even think about that, again, would not have been possible over a year ago. Even quest lines were designed around this. Take a look at Sorcerer's Gambit. Not exactly the most popular card in the terms of player interest in all of that, or, well, just people hated this card, but regardless, the design of it was kind of cool. You cast a fire, a frost, and an arcane spell. You have to do that 3 times to get your reward. Again, something that would have never been possible before and enabled really cool things, except for, I'm just gonna be nice. I'm gonna say it's cool things, even though this is pretty disgusting. But a better example in terms of that is Magister Dawn Grasp. It's a really cool hero card that recasts a spell from each spell school you've cast this game. And again, you build your deck specifically around it. Like, you only run one shadow spell, the Mask of Cthulhu. Maybe you only run the one arcane spell in a polymorph and get these big things. Again, how would you ever have refined that before? I just think it's been an incredibly cool mechanic. And I guess we could top it off with the year with the card that's in the thumbnail with Multicaster. Multicaster is another draw engine that's built very differently. Like, you could compare it to a novice engineer or a novice inventor that would draw a card. However, Multicaster could theoretically draw 5, 6, 7 cards if you somehow have access to all these different spell schools. And it's not that often in Hearthstone that you see like a new mechanic, a new keyword, a new type of thing. And apparently we're going to get a new type of a new card type this year. I've seen Regis speculate on what it could be. My creativity and my imagination is way too low to even think about what that could be. I'm just gonna go with I don't know, a cat card that just it's a cat. It's Nova and she goes meow. I don't know. It's like my cat, but yeah, I have no idea. But regardless, just seeing like these things are really cool. And you know, it's funny how it took so long for this to come into the game, that we have these spell types, these schools. It makes you wonder, like, what kind of missing potential is out there? What other, could you have weapon types? Could that create a different strategy? Could you have hero card types? Could you have, I'm just thinking all the different like card types and just associating a new tribe on it. But I just think it's been a really cool and fascinating thing that the Hearthstone team was able to implement and make it, you know, something really cool and interesting in the game, having holy spells across different classes. And another great example of a really cool style of card is Spirit Guide, which draws a holy and a shadow spell. So 2 different schools, but on top of that, they even created this really interesting card in meta, the Pure Light, which, you know, if you take a look at Waxadread, which would shuffle a dragon or a token into their deck, you'd see this innocently enough. Oh, it's a fragment, but the fragment itself is holy, which you can tutor out with a draw holy spell or whatever. Like that's just a really cool, interesting mechanic. It's actually made Hearthstone a more in-depth game. It's allowed for more interesting design, and I want to applaud the team on a really cool, interesting new mechanic, even if it's so minor. It's so minor. It's such a little thing, just putting that little text on a spell. But man, it's opened up the floodgates for possibilities. And I would love to hear in the comments below, what type of, I don't know, what kind of keyword, what kind of school, what kind of thing could you add to other things in the game to open things up like this? Like we already have minion types. We've seen Quillbores added most recently, which hasn't been utilized outside of like in N'Zoth. But what other type of mechanics could they possibly add? We know we're getting a new card type this year. Ben Lee basically confirmed that. So it's kind of interesting to take a look through the collection and how one little thing can change so much. And I just want to applaud the team, because I know I'm critical. I can be very critical and basically completely over negative a lot of the time, but gotta throw some positivity out there while we're kind of like, you know, waiting on that expansion. I don't have a watch. I don't know why I'm looking at, anyways, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.